So it is time. It is time. And this one's going to be very easy. So we have all manner of malignant types, right? But I guess even the sub-rats and insects have their own, but make part of the pawns in the game that we all are forced to play. So respect to privacy, respect to whoever has a pocket of nation, a pocket of anything that's good, family, whatever, that is blocked off, there is for their own protection, there is protected, there is fenced off from the intrusiveness of the technocratic things that we all live in today. Because you can't just switch the internet off. And of course, you can't just switch the internet off from the Internet of Things, they said. And now to make it a bit funny, how would that, if we are to use something like the wording of the people from England, from Great Britain of the old, how they would say the dark arts. How would something like the dark arts be in relation to the technocratic Internet of Things? And what would the likes of a quote-unquote Lord Blackwood as a malignant, narcissistic psychopath, cluster B triad, the dark triad individual, and then the rest, you had, even in that movie, is a very good representation of some of the stuff that is happening all over the world, and how basically how you got malignant cluster B personality disordered individual like that Lord Blackwood meets the, how many? Say, for example, the chief of the Scotland Yard, where he got duped in and to be part of his secret wee little in cult, and how does something like that play in relation to something like people that are migrants? I'll tell you how. Because whenever there's, first of all, how Lord Blackwood created fear, he was like, oh, listen to what's going on outside, listen to. So again, everything, they're trying to create a fear-based system. And who are you going to fear the most? The digital eye, the and of course you're going to be scared because it requires to have genuine self-duty of care beyond just your physical needs, and to at least scratch the surface on your psychological needs, which I think is very difficult, even for the elite. So I think I might even just end it there, because again, my channel will remain as much as I can, So I guess the more and more professional and exciting and advertisable my content is going to be, the less is going to be private, the less is going to be national, and I mean that pertains to nation and not to a corporation that is being nationalistic, right? So you got corporations that are being technocratically communistic. You got corporations being nationalistic, right? But it's all communism and fascism if we're going to break it down to its basic components. And it's legislation and rules versus laws that what makes a law is there is with the least amount of trespassing, if there's any trespassing. Now, when you got things that corporations implement that create, how Trump does it, that creates, the most amount of trespassing, right? Because what happens now, to break it down into fucking call it psychological mechanics. So I can see how you got a banker or the supreme leader, Lord Blackwood. He gets trespassed on in terms of like narcissistic rage, narcissistic injuries when his trickery don't work. And then he'll come with greater tricks. And because he's getting trespassed on in a malignant, broken man thinking sort of way, then you have, solutions that he'll implement that then trespass onto everyone. And this is how, some basics mechanics of it is. But the way that they've achieved to do things like riots, so on and so forth, is first of all to get you to be dumb. First of all, you have to be dumb. What does that imply? It implies that no new knowledge can be seeked, consumed, used, and then stored for later, and do that over a long period of time, and you got yourself some really hard out codependence. Just how the people screaming in the streets were codependent to the security and peacekeeping of whatever Parliament and Scotland Yard. So the people themselves couldn't do it because they were broken. How better do you do it than the ones that are most standing in terms of, at least in terms of thinking, because you can easily devour someone's, financial, so on and so forth. But if they're upstanding as it be, their mind and their soul is going to be the last thing to go, not the first thing to go. That's how you can tell if both like a private man or a woman or the company that they're building, their business, whatever it is, their firm, is just like in maritime, the captain goes down with the ship, you don't, like it isn't like your mind is the captain of the ship. You don't let the captain go away and then she'll be fine, right? Or just because your ship is sinking, it doesn't mean that there isn't a captain there. So, yeah, too many vessels without captains in any realm, shape, or form. They think that AI or something can start to scratch the surface to replace people's minds. Good luck with that one. Failed social experiments, so on and so forth. It's all the failure, put it this way, if Lord Blackwood was in charge as in the Sherlock Holmes movie, it's such a bad spin-off. That it's gotten to the point where Sherlock Holmes and Watson haven't been able to get down to the bottom of it. But they know what's going on, and not only that, everyone else knows it. Every single trick, even the kiddies are explaining it before, as it starts to take place. So the magic is gone. The magic is gone, and the trickery and the ill ways that they have is pretty much out in the open. And it's difficult times because on this one you can't really fight fire with fire so much. Maybe a small display that you can be like that as well. Like they're not qualities that are very difficult to gain, and that you have qualities outside of their chessboard, because it's all a chessboard. There's only so many psychological profiles that are considered to be okay. There's only so much financial profiles that are considered to be okay. There's only specific properties that you're allowed to have to be part of the game. The outside of that, well, they can't really play the tricks in the games. The only problem is there isn't many nations that are off the chessboard. And no one is thinking about who's creating the chessboard. The chessboard, we know, is a game. We know that it can be a war game. And it's a game. It's got specific rules. It's not life. You got life and you got a game. Just how you can have, for a very good example, The Sims. The Sims. Or you can have GTA. And then you can have real life. That shouldn't even, the rules that pertain to that shouldn't even pertain to you. For example, in your real life, for no matter how much it mimics real life, it will never be real life. For example, in GTA, the police tolerate you up till you crash into them. So you can run red lights, you can do burnouts right next to them. That's the rules within that game. Now, would that apply in real life? No way. But it does a great job at mimicking real life. But it's not like that, is it? And at the end of the day, when it really comes down to, say, what should be federal and what should be highly forced, not enforced, forced onto us, if it gets to that, it should be when there is clear trespassing on one another, right? That's when you call the right, like the higher ups as it be. But when the higher ups are making the rules and the small terms and conditions between each one of us, and we out at home or on the street to make the laws to enforce lack of trespassing. Now that's pretty freaking ridiculous, isn't it? And that's another part of the inversion. And on patterns like this, I could go on and on and on, but I will not. And to the what is that? It's copper and it's bent. And to that, I will say